Hello, this is Stef. Today we're going to see a big thing. So something that I carried on for a long time. I wanted to do it in the beginning, but I carried on until now. And it is the compilation of FFmpeg in Windows using MSVC, not MinGW. So MinGW is the porting of the programs from Linux, including the compiler, into Windows. We use part of it to compile some of the things, compile FFmpeg, but not only. So the main core compiler is MSVC, the one provided from Microsoft, so the native Windows one. And so we don't have the bells and whistles that we had in the Ubuntu installation. So we don't have. So we're trying with libx264. We don't have libx265. We don't have all the other things, but I think that with a bit of time we can adapt it, and maybe in the future video we will do something more complete for Windows. Anyway, I appreciate a lot the fact that you like my videos, and just in case you didn't do it, please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you get notified about the videos I'll be releasing next. And I have also an Instagram and a TikTok profile, so if you'd like to show them, I will post them right here. And so we have Windows ready, so we can get started. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is to install the tools that are necessary for the compiling later. So first thing, what we're going to do is to download the build tools. So we don't use a complete Visual Studio. So we don't use anything bigger than Visual Studio Code. The editor I would like to use later is Visual Studio Code, so we don't go further with Visual Studio, but we use the build tools from Visual Studio. And the thing that we're going to check is the Microsoft website for the Visual Studio. So we can take Visual Studio right here. Then we can go directly into Downloads folder, but if you go to the home page of Microsoft, and you click on Downloads, and you have you land to this page. And if you go down, you have the tools for Visual Studio 2022. Here you have the build tools for Visual Studio 2022, and you click on this download. And you should have a vs build tools.exe right here. Here. Good. So you can open it, and it requires the administrator privileges. And here we can continue. Now it's going to download and install. I've already done it, so I have already this thing that is the Visual Studio build tools. So in this case, you will have an install in the Visual Studio build tools. What to install? The tools that you need to install are the C++ tools. So you got the desktop development with C++, and these are the things that I have installed. So I have the latest version of the compiler with all the build tools, and C++ CMake tools for Windows, okay, testing core, and the address sanitizer. I have the Windows 10 SDK enabled. If I want, I can also select the other just in case, but we are not going to use these things. But for you, make sure to install the latest version according to the operating system that you have. So if you have a Windows 11, you can select the Windows 11 SDK. So these are the 5 things that I have installed. So here I can replace it, I repeat, but this is all I have. And this is the thing that you need for the MSVC. As soon as you have everything installed, you have here in your system, if you type developer command prompt, so all the first letter dev, you have the developer command prompt for Visual Studio 2022. And in this case, you have this command prompt that is opening. I will make it a bit bigger as usual. Here we go. And so here, what you can put is any command and necessary to compile the program you would like. In particular, we're going to use the CL, which is the CC, the compiler for your program. So if you have CL, you see that it is working. Then if you would like, you can have, so you can change as an alias from CL to CC, but at the moment we keep everything like so. Okay, cool. Okay, now at this point, what we need to install is the MSYS. What is the MSYS? It's a set of tools that gives a basic command line from Linux to Windows, plus some commands that we can install later. So I think that we can do is to go to the website of MSYS or type MSYS on Google. MSYS, and we have msys2.org. You can go into the website, and here we can go to the download page. The download page is available here, so directly on the home page we have the installer right here. If you download it, it's right here. It is more or less 82 megabytes. Here is downloading. Once it is downloaded, you can run the installation and leave everything by default. Let's see which are the options as soon as it's finished downloading. Here you go. So here it says, okay, there is the smart screen that prevents from installing, but if you click more info and run anyway, goes. Then here we can click on next. Here we have by default MSYS 64. Default it can be like so. Then okay, here I have already the installation, and so it's fine. If you go on, the installation is quite straightforward. Okay, once the MSYS is set correctly, is installed correctly, we need to tweak one of the files that we have in. And this is the file that we're going to invoke later. And the file is available in the C MSYS64. So if you're going to C MSYS64, and then we are going to the MSYS2 _shell.cmd, we open it with a text editor. Here we got to pay attention to uncomment this line right here. What does this line do? This is the inheritance of the Windows commands inside the MSYS. So later will be really useful. Okay, once we save the text file, and then we are ready to start. What we can do here is to open, first of all, the developer commands. So we installed the build tools before. As soon as you enable, if you type x64, you have the x64 native tools command prompts for VS 2022. This is if you want to compile 64 bits version of the software, which is, I think, the version that you're going to use. Otherwise, there is also the 32. In this case, you put the x86, but now we're going to need the x64. We have the command prompt opening, and now we got to navigate into the MSYS folder. So I got to take C MSYS64, and now we got the MSYS2 shell.cmd. We invoke it, and here we go. We have the shell ready to be used. We do as usual, we put it at the top. When we get something like this, we put it somehow bigger. As soon as we invoke it for the first time, what we need to do is to, first of all, update the package manager. Yes, the package manager, a package manager is like the one that is in Ubuntu, is available here also in MSYS, but it is different for the people who use the Arch Linux. This is the same, this is the Pacman. So if you take Pacman, this is the package manager as it is here. So if you take the -h, you have also a quick guide. What we need to do is to use the sync package, that the sync command that also updates and installs new packages. So here what we need to do is pacman minus capital S, Y that says essentially yes to everything we are saying, and U that means update. So here we are going to take the updates. It is similar to apt update and apt upgrade. So in this case, okay, we're going to click yes. So it's making its own updating. And here we go. So now it tells me to close. I got to reopen a second moment. Anyway, it's not a big deal. We're going back into the MSYS2, MC64, MSYS2 shell.cmd. And we're taking back the command to update. SYU. Go. That's going to install the missing packages, so the packages to update, let's say. Okay, and here we go, ready to go. Now, what to do? We got to install the necessary packages for the compilation of the packages of the things we've got to do later. So Pacman, our package manager, what we need to install. We've got to install with the -s command make, which will make the executable later. I don't have Git installed, so I will install Git inside MSYS. It will be useful also for other packages, for other usages later. I will install it from here. And I put also diffutils, NASM, and YASM. So these are the assemblers that are needed for the FFMPEG compilation later. I also put pkgconf, which is the configuration of the packages. This will be useful later once we are going to include the libx264 inside FFMPEG. Okay, so now in this case I've already installed them, but I'm going to reinstall just to get along together, at least on this. Okay, and the packages are installed. Another thing that I'm going to do is to change the link. Why? Because I want to use the link which is provided by Microsoft, not the link that is provided here, because if I say where link, okay, now I have the Microsoft link. If so I suggested to take this command, so this usr bin and link.exe. So what we're going to do, we're going to rename the file from link.exe to still in the same folder, usr bin link.exe.bak. So this is a simple renaming. this case, I don't have it, but just in case you had it, so it's going to rename it. Okay. Okay, now we are in this home folder that I know where it is. I would like to go to a location which is known in Windows, like my user folder. I will create the new environment there, creating some folders and then creating all the things that are necessary for the compilation later. So first of all, I'm going to change the location from where I am to the users folder. So the user location is under the /C. So this is the C drive, exactly. Then users username, and then I'm going to create a new folder called TMP. The command, the same as in Windows, this is in Linux. So in MSYS, this is mkdir. mkdir tmp. Good. Then I'm going to go inside, because inside what I would like to create, I'm going to create two folders. The folder with the sources and the folder with the build material. So mkdir sources and then mkdir build. These are my two folders. If I take the ls, you will see that I have build and sources. Now, first thing, what I would like to do is to download the source code for both the x264 and the FFMPEG. FFMPEG will be downloaded later, so we're going to think about this in a second moment. So here we are going to the sources. And now, where do we get the material? So this is quite easy. If we get a browser window and we search for the x264 directly, we have the link and we have the command already here. So we can copy and go to MSYS and paste directly. This is from code.videolan.org, videolan x264. And here now it's cloning. It's cloning into the folder. Okay, so cool. Once we've finished, we can close the location where the thing is, the browser window, sorry. And then what we need to do is go inside this folder. So we take a look at what's inside. We got to put a patch on one of the files. So there's the command also in the guide I will post below, and also in the batch file that I will create later. So the command you got to execute is curl. Curl is a program to download material from a remote source. It can be like an alternative of wget, let's say, a bit more advanced with a bit more options. The link is this. I'm going to copy paste it directly from the guide. Then this thing we are going to take and put it inside. So we're going to redirect the standard output inside a folder called a file called config.guess. Okay, so now it's downloading and the file has been downloaded. Then another thing before we're going to compile the material is to change a single line in the a single term inside the configure file from main.gw, which is the alternative to MSYS, to MSYS itself. So the command we're going to use is sed -i. This will replace in place inside the file the string that is put at first. So the syntax requires a quote s, which means string, then host os equals to min gw, to host os, host underscore os equals to MSYS. And then other slash. So the thing is that the syntax for sed in general is sed minus I in this case because we want to change in place. Quote s, which means string, slash the string that is present inside a text file, another slash, and the string that we want to replace with. Then another slash in the end, and quote. In this case, we've got to specify which file we want to put this, and it is in the configure. Okay, and this is done. Perfect. Now we are ready to compile x264. So we are going to the previous folder. So we are not into, so now we are in x264, which is inside sources. So we got to get up 2 levels and then go in build. Good. So now we are in tmp build. We're going to create a folder called x264 just to have everything sorted and in order. Nkdir x264. Cool. So just to check we are there, and we can go in the folder just to get ready and do what we want to do. Now it's time to set the configure. Now the configuration, it's set in the guide to be shared. What does it mean shared? It creates a so-called a DLL like, so something that can be put along with the executable. In this case, we want to create a static build. Static build because it will be incorporated within the application. So in this case, we're going to enable the flags to be static. So first of all, let's build the command along the way. Let's say just to learn what we are doing. This is something that I like. So not barely applying the commands. I know that we cannot know anything, so we cannot know everything in our processes, but whatever is of our power, and when we have the time, it's better to take an inspection. Okay, so first of all, we got to get the configure from x264 sources. So where it is. So it is up to 2 levels because we are in the TMP now. Then we're going to go to sources and x264 and configure. This is the configure file where it is. We are going to enable the static build, and this is the core. This is the nucleus of our build. We're going to put something to make the configure tell that once we install, so once we, now the next command will be a make. Make will create the executables and all the libraries within this folder. But later we want this thing into the installed folder. So we're going to create a folder later. So, or better, make install will create a folder later where it's going to put all the libraries and all the necessary things that will be imported later for FFmpeg. So here, before the enable static, we're going to put a so-called prefix. The prefix, in this case, equals to up to 2 levels because we are in TMP now. And then we have the installed. Good. There's still something missing because now by default, if I put make, it will use the compiler from MSYS, which is a thing that I don't want. In this case, I got to give a directive to say that the compiler is CL. CL is the default Microsoft compiler. So it is the CC for Microsoft, let's say. And this command is complete. Now we let the configure make its Let's work. Let's go. Then it takes some time just to get the make done later. In this case, if we made some mistakes, we can invoke configure later again. So with the new flags, in this case, we didn't make any mistakes here. It makes also a summary of what it's going to do. So the system is Windows, command line, and everything static, as we specified before. And I think that everything is fine. Now, make. Make like this can work. Maybe if you want to multi-thread, you can put the -j. In this case, I have 4 cores. I put -j equals to 4. Here, some people say the more, the bigger the number, the better. I saw that there's a degradation after a while in the performances. So I have 4 cores. I let all the 4 cores work together if make can make it. So I put -j 4. So try to document yourself how many cores you have. If you want to see how many cores do you have, you can go to the task manager and take the performance. In the CPU, here, you got the number of cores. So, right here, cores. So I put 4 because I have 4 cores. Let the make run. And now that's the compilation process. The compiling process takes some while. So we're going to wait. Okay, now the compilation has finished. Next step, FFMPEG. Another command that we need to give after the compilation of x264 is the make install. So here, if we make install, it will put all the folders, all the files in these installed folders. So as soon as you come up to one level and put the ls, sorry, here, up to 2 levels. In the TMP folder, we have the installed along with the build and the sources. Okay, cool. So now we are proceeding with the retrieval of FFMPEG. Okay, now the next step is to compile FFMPEG. First of all, we do the same thing that we did before. So we did the same, we did with the x264. We are going to the source. So now we add in TMP, sources, and now we're going to create a folder called FFMPEG. So mkdir FFMPEG. Good. And so now we got to retrieve the code using Git again. And now what are the sources for FFMPEG? We can go directly on the website. So this is the download page. We can either take this. So this is the last version. Or if you go into FFMPEG Github, you can take the version from Github. So up to you, they are aligned, so no worries about this is the mirror of the other side, as you can see. So take one or the other, it's okay. I'm going to take this. So I'm going to copy and paste the git command. And I'll wait until the thing is done. Here, I think it was an excess to create the folder. As soon as you make the git command on FFMPEG, it will create the folder and then fill it. So in this case, we made an mkdir more, but it's going to work anyway. Okay, here it's downloading the code. And then the next step will be to compile here. This is the most, let's say, complicated step. Why? Because we need to get all the configure as it should be. I will put this in the script that I'm going to share with you. No worries. And okay, and now we are ready to configure the making the compilation of FFmpeg. Okay, now it's time to make the configure of our compilation. This is a process that is not easy at all, but let's start easy, and then we are building up all the flags on the things. So now we go to invoke the configure, which is available inside the source. So here, if you go in FFmpeg, you see that there is a configure available here, but we are going up a couple of levels. So now we are in sources TMP. Okay, we are going to build, and we're going to create a folder called FFmpeg. Cool. So now we have FFmpeg and x264. We go in FFmpeg. Okay. And now the step is to invoke the configure that we said before. So we are now in build TMP, then sources FFmpeg configure, and this is the configure command, configure program. Then what do we want to put as flags? We want first of all the tool chain, that is MSVC, because what we want to use is the CL as before. And as architecture, we want to build for the 64 bits. So we have arch equals to x86_64. We're going to enable a bit of things like enable YASM, and then enable ASM. We are going to enable the static thing. So I think that we can take is disable static, and then enable, sorry, the opposite, disable shared and enable static. Okay. We are going to enable, of course, after all this effort, the x264. And so, as a consequence, we got to enable the GPL. So now we have the GPL version of the software. If you have something that is something more, you have also the option enable non-free. But at the moment, it's a bit too much. Maybe later, this is something that we can set. Oh, we can put it so we can see later what does the configure say. Non-free. And then we put explicitly enable debug. Enable debug. And this will create also the debug version of the software. By default, it will create them, but it's better to explicit everything so to have a bit of clarity of what we are doing. And for the moment, that's it. We have also the loading of the extra libraries, where they are. So here we have the extra LD flags. And here we open a double quote. So we got to put libpath minus libpath colon. And here we put also the installed folder, so the x264 library. So installed lib. And also we put the extra C flags. So the extra C flags, mistakes. We got to put something like this between double quotes, -i, the installed library that x264 created with a make install. And in this case, we have include. Installed include. We have the LD flags. We have the C flags. Now, there's something that we got to put before. In the beginning. We have before the tool chain. We got to put also here the prefix, so everything will be referred to the installed folder. So just in case we put a make install, we'll put the software right there. So prefix equals to up to 2 levels. Okay. And we put uninstalled right here. So installed. Now, before the configure, you got to put 2 things. First of all, like before with the H.264, we have a CC equals to CL because we want to tell the software that we're going to use the compiler CL, the one provided by Microsoft. And also an important thing, so without this we have an error that will tell that x264 is not found by pkg-config, the configurator of the packages that are installed. So in this case, pkg-config path, this is a flag that we're going to put before. It is our installed folder. So installed lib pkg-config. In fact, here, if we take the folder, I will show you in the Explorer. Just a second, I take the folder out. We have right here we have the build sources like before, but in the installed we have the include that is available here, extra flags, where we have the .h that will be included in the source by itself, the lib with the libraries, but also we have the pkg-config, where inside there is the file that is the configuration for the pkg-config. And I think that's it. So here we have just a check that everything is okay. Good. I think that everything is okay. Like this, it should go smooth with the configuration. Now let's wait until the software. Here there is a mistake. Here it's not x264 but libx x264. So we missed the easiest things. And little by little, it's going to read everything. And here we go. We have the output as it should be. So here, as you can see, you have the summary of all the compilation that we're going to do later. So we have the compiler, we have the C library, we have the architecture that is x86. There should be the 64-bit version, because the architecture that we put is this, and Okay, I think everything, so the external libraries, libx264, and the libraries that will be included, the programs that will be included. So we have FFmpeg and FFprobe. If you want FFplay, we need to install libstl, which is quite of a mess at the moment. We don't see this thing so far. These are all the encoders and decoders, and all the parsers, all the demuxers, and so on and so forth. So in the end, we have also the license. In this case, it is non-free and unrestricted distributable. So we got to keep it for ourselves. We cannot get it. There is a warning that tells that it will be deprecated. So the enable YASM is deprecated. But at the moment, I think it's so far so good. I have some concerns about how, why there is, since we put the architecture as 64 bits, I don't see any reference about it to be 64 bits. Anyway, we can go on and make. So the same considerations as we did before, we put the make with the number of cores, in this case I have, which is 4. And we go on. In this case, expect a lot of time and so take something to do in this. Meanwhile, I give the command and let's see the result. Okay, and finally we finished. So what do we have? We have FFmpeg and FFprobe, but also we have the debug version. So we have FFmpeg G, FFprobe G, and so we are ready to use them. Cool. Okay, so now we have FFmpeg debug version, FFprobe debug version. So the next step is to try them. So let's see what can we get. Here we have our Windows terminal ready to be used. And let's increase a bit the size. Good. And so first of all, let's make sure, because I have the FFmpeg from the path. So what I would like to do is to check. First of all, it checks for this and then this. So just to make sure, we can make FFmpeg -v, sorry, minus version. So here we have FFmpeg, and okay, 64 with all the prefix. So cool, everything is working fine. Let's try with a sample that we have here. So I have it in my desktop. So we have Big Buck Bunny ready. So what we can do is FFmpeg -i, then this Big Buck Bunny. Let's say that we want to use the brand new libx264. Then again, Big Buck Bunny, say filtered, not MP4. And let's try and put some filters. So filter V, let's say scale, with a width of no, let's take a height equals to 360 and a width that is equal to -1. So it takes the ratio from this, and let's give a shot. Let's see. It is working. It is working. Let me play the new video. So this is the input. Okay, so 10, 11 seconds of video. Cool. And this is the output. You see that it is smaller. Cool. So I'm super happy of this. And finally, we got this. So the task is not that easy, and but I'm glad that we made it. Cool. So first of all, I would never have made this process without seeing and watching the guides. So one of the guide is this that I will report in the description. And also another thing is that can be suggested is to use this media auto-build suite on GitHub, where automatically you can compile using these scripts that are already here. So if you want to do everything automatically, don't care about tricking with the options so much. You can do something, you can enable, disable something, but if you want to personalize, this is the guy that works for you. There is another FFMPEG Windows build helpers. So this can be cool, but it performs also cross compiling, so from Linux to Windows and something like so. So this is these are guides that are worth mentioning during this process. Okay, we've reached up to this point. Happy of this. So first of all, this is an attempt, and this is far from being something to be released for the production. First of all, because it's not comparable to the one that magnificent Jan.dev does, or also the other repository that is available in the download that has way more libraries and also are more stable and more things. But if you like to try, want to see the inner things, then later we're going to see how to debug, how to peek into the code of FFMPEG. This is something that is an attempt that you must be, or if you want to provide your own version of FFMPEG with your software, with your own libraries, this is something that you need. This is a step that you need to make. So if you followed up to this point, thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching up to this point. If you like, so thanks for your support, because I saw a lot of likes in one of my some of my previous videos. So thank you very much for your support. Just in case you liked it or you want to see something more, like, share and subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be notified about what I'm doing next with these topics, with multimedia, but also much more. Follow my social media, and I would like to take advantage to make my wishes for Christmas. Merry Christmas to everybody. See you next time with after the holidays. So happy so spend your time with your families. I hope you have a great time. For the moment, thank you very much for watching, and see you next time for other content regarding multimedia, but also much more. Ciao.